The Trail of Tears was a series of forced relocations of Native American peoples from their ancestral homelands in the southeastern United States to areas to the west, usually west of the Mississippi River. They had been designated as Indian Territory. The forced relocations were carried out by government authorities following the passage of the Indian Removal Act of 1830. The relocated peoples suffered from exposure, disease, and starvation while en route to their new designated reserve, and many died before reaching their destinations. The forced removals included members of the Cherokee, Muskogee Creek, Seminole, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Ponca, and Ho-Chunk Winnebago nations. The phrase Trail of Tears originates from a description of the removal of many Native American tribes, including the infamous Cherokee Nation relocation in 1838. All told, in the forced relocation, some 15,000 to 17,000 Native American lives would be lost. Today we find ourselves in Giles County, Tennessee, where we will be tracing the path of the Bell Route. The Bell Route features some 650 to 700 Cherokee who had favored the Treaty of New Dakota and who opposed the Cherokee chief John Ross, who went a different route. This route under John Bell would come from Memphis and would cross down into lower middle Tennessee. The Bell Detachment, with 56 wagons and 318 horses, headed south from the Cherokee Agency on October 11, 1838, along the Hiwassee River towards what is now Cleveland, Tennessee. The detachment traveled to Chattanooga, where they crossed to the north side of the Tennessee River at Ross's Landing. Expenditures would be used along the way, and this gave us a keen insight into what happened on the route all these years later. This rock building is the Trail of Tears Interpretive Center, but it wasn't always here. Right here on the left, you see a new addition to what is the First Baptist Church of Pulaski, Tennessee. And the Rock Church, which would later become the Interpretive Center, sat right here.
So the Rock Church was sold to the First Baptist Church across the street. They were going to use the property as additional parking and to build on to the existing church. So they thought, how can we best use this church? It'd be a shame to see it just be torn down. But so it wasn't. It was moved. And here's its journey.
The Rock Church, as we already said, was right here next to the First Baptist Church in Pulaski, Tennessee. It would be hoisted up on a flatbed and slowly, much slower than we're going here, slowly make its way through town. Pulaski, Tennessee finds itself in many of my videos as it's my de facto hometown, along with Lawrenceburg, Tennessee and Prospect, Tennessee. I spent majority of my time growing up in those three towns. Pulaski was named after Revolutionary War hero Count Casimir Pulaski of Poland, and they celebrate his birth each year. Following the Trail of Tears route, the Rock Church would make its way down this road to its final resting place and to become the Trail of Tears Interpretive Center, right next to Sam Davis Park, the local baseball field.
This building, in fact, was the Immaculate Conception Catholic Church and was dedicated in 1941. A significant contribution was actually made by Frank and Ethel Mars, and you may remember from my Journey Home video where I talked about the Milky Way Farms. Yep, it's those Mars. The Mars Candy Company helped build what we always known in town as the Rock Church.
Interpretive Center today is actually closed, so we're going to come back for a part 2 and show you that. Right now we'll show you the grounds and some of the festivities going on.
It is spring. The leaves are on the trees. I am playing with my friends when white men in uniforms ride up to our home. My mother calls me. I can tell by her voice that something is wrong. Some of the men ride off. My mother tells me to gather my things, but the men don't allow us time to get anything. They enter our home and begin knocking over pottery and looking into everything. My mother and I are taken by several men to where their horses are and held there at gunpoint. The men who rode off return with my father, Elijah. They have taken his rifle and he is walking toward us. I can feel his anger and frustration. There is nothing he can do. From my mother, I feel fear. I am filled with fear too. What is going on? I was just playing. But now my family and my friends' families are gathered together and told to walk at the point of a bayonet. We walk a long way. My mother does not let me get far from her. My father is walking by the other men, talking in low, angry tones. The soldiers look weary, as though they'd rather be anywhere else but here. They lead us to a stockade. They herd us into this pen like we are cattle. No one was given time to gather any possessions. The nights are still cold in the mountains. We do not have enough blankets to go around. My mother holds me at night to keep me warm. That is the only time I feel safe. I feel her pull me to her tightly. I feel her warm breath in my hair. I feel her softness as I fall asleep at night. As the days pass, more and more of our people are herded into the stockade. I see other members of my clan. We children try to play, but the elders around us are anxious, and we do not know what to think. I often sit and watch the others around me. I observe the guards. I try not to think about my hunger. I am cold. Several months have passed, and we are still in the stockades. My father looks tired. He talks with the other men, but no one seems to know what to do or what is going to happen. We hear that white men have moved into our homes and are farming our fields. What will happen to us? We are to march west to join the Western Cherokees. I don't want to leave these mountains. My mother, my aunts, and my uncles take me aside one day. Your father died last night, they tell me. My mother and my father's clan members are crying, but I do not understand what this means. I saw him yesterday. He was sick, but still alive. It doesn't seem real. Nothing seems real. I don't know what any of this means. It seems like yesterday I was playing with my friends. It is now fall. It seems like forever since I was clean. The stockade is nothing but mud. In the morning it is stiff with frost. By mid-afternoon it is soft and we are all covered in it. The soldiers tell us that we are to follow them. We are led out of the stockade. The guards all have guns and are watching us closely. We walk. My mother keeps me close to her. I am allowed to walk with my uncle or an aunt occasionally. We walk across the frozen earth. Nothing seems right anymore. The cold seeps through my clothes. I wish I had my blanket. I remember the last winter I had a blanket. I was warm. I don't feel like I'll ever be warm again.
Thank you very much for tuning in today and taking a look back at the Trail of Tears. A bleak time in the history of this country. A learning experience for this country. One that hopefully will never be repeated again in this civilized modern age that we find ourselves in.